Welcome back, everyone, to another second stimulus package and second stimulus check update. Today is now Sunday, November 1st. We are now just 2 days away until Election Day. And what is going on with the second stimulus package? Is it coming? Well, I guess you could probably presume it won't be coming before the election, which is 2 days to go. No one is truly thinking about a stimulus package right now. Everyone's minds are focused on the election and if Trump will be reelected or will Biden be elected to the office. I already did 2 videos covering each path of each candidate and if they could squeeze out 270 to win. I did those videos. The links will be down below in the description if you haven't seen them yet. More election coverage will be coming shortly, so stay tuned to this channel. If you're not subscribed yet, you might want to consider actually hitting that big red button, the subscribe button, because if you do hit that big red button, also hit that notification bell as well. That will just notify you every single time I do make a new video. So in this update, we do have a new timeline from Senator Mitch McConnell. He did talk to reporters just recently, and he did give his thoughts on the timeline for the next stimulus package. So we'll be looking at what he said and when can we expect this stimulus package to come. We'll also be taking a look at some hypothetical sequences of events, how far after the election the stimulus package will be passed, what would it look like, and what's going to happen when we have this lame duck period of lame duck sitting senators and Congress people between Election Day and Inauguration Day. So the latest conflict over America's next stimulus package is not only having to do anymore with the price tag that will come along with the package, but rather exactly when should the package be passed. The conversation surrounding the next stimulus package is no longer if we should be doing it, but rather when should it be executed, and the 2.5 months in between Election Day and Inauguration Day can feel like an eternity for millions of struggling Americans who are barely just able to get by or who have been totally impoverished or on the brink of poverty. So when Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke to reporters on Friday, he said, quote, "We probably need to do another package. I think that'll be something we'll need to do right at the beginning of the year." Now, beginning of the year is a little bit more specific now, so we know it's not going to be coming before the holidays, but rather after the new year. But it's still a little bit vague and still leaves open some questions, such as before Inauguration Day, after Inauguration Day when the new Congress has been sworn in. McConnell added that it should be a much narrower package than the current bill being negotiated. He had said, quote, that the next stimulus package should be, quote, certainly more modest than the $3 trillion House Speaker Nancy Pelosi package, and that was seemingly referencing the HEROES Act from May 15th. Pelosi, in an interview on MSNBC, said, quote, certainly we'll have something at the start of the new presidency, but we don't want to have to wait that long because people have needs. So now because of McConnell's protracted timeline, this is now a twofer because he's been rejecting the idea of a much more robust stimulus package that even President Trump is calling for. McConnell now wants to funnel a smaller amount of aid to small businesses, hospitals, and schools. So this is his latest break with President Trump, and he's been lavishly supporting a sweeping bill that will also include a second stimulus check and renewed unemployment benefits, among other funding. And the last update, if you haven't seen it yet, the link will be down below in the description. We briefly covered how Trump was speaking to reporters on Friday as well, and he had said, we will have a tremendous stimulus package immediately after the election. Now, earlier that same week, Trump essentially apparently based his commitment on the condition that he'll win re-election and that the House of Representatives and the Senate will have Republican majority still. That means the Republicans would have to take back the House as they lost it in the 2018 midterms. Now, Joe Biden is prepared with his own stimulus plan that he'll be ready to implement if he does, in fact, win the election, and that will probably pass easily in the House. However, it would have trouble in the Senate if the Republicans can maintain that Senate majority. Now, as Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell does have the power and the authority to set when both chambers of Congress vote on the next piece of legislation. McConnell will retain his position to at least January 3rd when Congress's new terms kick off. McConnell has previously committed to bringing a deal about to the Senate for a vote, but Friday's statements hint that he might want to actually delay this vote. And in a scenario that McConnell somehow didn't oppose the $1.9 trillion offer that was introduced by the White House, he would still have trouble getting it passed. Passing a bill shortly after an election faces a ton of hurdles, one of them being that they have to agree to the final bill, and they also have to transition to a new term of government. This is what's known as the lame duck period, and that's the period between Election Day and Inauguration Day. So more specifically, it would be November 4th and January 19th, and it's notoriously a dead zone when it comes to passing new legislation, with the exception of emergency measures such like avoiding a U.S. government shutdown on December 11th. So here are 4 hypothetical scenarios that could play out in the coming weeks subsequently following this November 3rd election that everyone is eagerly waiting for. So the first scenario would be that a White House offer is completed after November 3rd, and that would be an agreement is made and the current House and Senate vote, and if Trump signs it into law, stimulus checks and other aid would likely begin to go out within weeks, with certain groups receiving financial help before the end of 2020. A second scenario would be that a White House offer is finalized, but then it stalls in the Senate. That would look like in this situation that the House could vote on a deal after the election, but the current Senate, which is a Republican majority, could vote it down, so the bill actually does not end up becoming law. And in this case, Congress might try again after the next members of the House of Representatives and Senate convene on January 3rd, 2021. A third prospective scenario is that some funding is included in a separate bill, a separate piece of legislation that funds the government past December 11th, and it's possible that one piece of funding, for example, a stimulus check, unemployment aid, or an extension of the eviction stay, could make it into a bill to keep the government funded past December 11th and avoid a shutdown. That's definitely likely, as both sides would most likely show bipartisan support for avoiding a government shutdown. That's just something that both sides would agree on. So if they want to put some more funding in there and squeeze it in for certain areas such as a direct payment, it's definitely likely. However, the Democrats are holding out for that more comprehensive, robust package. And especially if Biden wins, the Democrats might want to wait until Joe Biden is inaugurated to pass this sweeping multi-trillion-dollar bill that they'll end up doing. Now, a fourth scenario is that talks stop until after the election results are in. So if talks grind to a halt after the election, it's likely that they'll restart in some capacity after the inauguration in January. It's been speculated that if Trump loses the election and if the Senate loses its majority, there will be little incentive for Congress to pass a sweeping package until 2021 during the transition. So again, that goes back to Democrats holding out for a more robust, comprehensive package, and the Senate might not feel incentivized. They'll be totally disincentivized to provide any aid as they're ready to be ousted in just weeks at that point. So that's all we know so far as of this moment. If you told me just a few months ago that we would not have any stimulus passed before the election, I would have thought you were absolutely insane. It is crazy to think that we did not get even a smaller bill passed before the election. To think that the only stimulus check we got throughout this entire pandemic was all the way back in March, and now we're probably going to have to wait until January to see the next stimulus check is ludicrous. Americans will be vociferously, vocally showing their anguish and distress at the polls and ballot boxes in just 2 days from now. Besides just the presidential election, there's a bunch of down ballot, smaller races that everyone is watching. Some of them are really, really tight. I'm curious more specifically about the Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham race in South Carolina. That one I'm going to be watching closely. So besides just the presidential election, which smaller local races are you watching in your area, your city, your town, your state? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm curious to hear. So if you did enjoy this video, if you got value out of it, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Smash the like button just to help with that YouTube algorithm. So I do appreciate when you do that. It supports me and my channel, and it mutually benefits everyone when you do that. So everyone will be in the know. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You might want to consider subscribing. I do post videos now every single solitary day, no exceptions and no excuses. Hit that big red button. Also hit the notification bell as well. That way you're notified every single time I do make a new one. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.